Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's service. Thank you so much for joining us for the factory service this morning. We are truly excited to have you here this morning. We know you could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us, so we're grateful for that. Today, as we go on with our service, we're going to continue our discussion on having superhero faith. But before we do that, of course, make sure you eliminate all distractions. Make some room, get ready for the fun that we're gonna have. Make sure you're using your chat down below because we are going to have an interactive discussion as we bring you into our lesson as we continue. So thank you again for joining us. Oh, I forgot to mention my name. Who am I? My name is Pastor O for those of you who do not know. And let's get ready to jump right into today's lesson. right, everyone, let's go ahead and jump right into our discussion today. Now, you're probably seeing this around my neck thinking, what in the world is Pastor O wearing? Is that a towel around his neck? Oh, actually, you are right. Yes, it is a towel around my neck. As a kid growing up, I used to do this a lot. I used to get towels, clean towels, of course, and tie them around my neck and pretend they're capes. Like I'm wearing a cape, as if I could fly. Tell me, does it look like I'm flying right now with it kind of beating? Does it look like I'm flying? Probably not, right? But today I am Laundry Man. Fold socks faster than the speed of light. Using the chat, let me know, what are some silly superhero names that you can think of, right? Maybe Iron Man with an iron. I'm Iron Man, right? I am Flip Flop Man. I don't know, I'm just making this up. But what's something that's silly that you can think of that might be a funny superhero name? Use your chat and type it in. Get in here, interact with us. Now, as we go on with our lesson about having superhero faith, I would say one of the things that makes a superhero is, now listen to this, it might sound crazy, but it's not the outfit, it's not the dramatic music, it's not the cool hair. But one of the things that makes a superhero is having a super villain, right, for them to battle against. Having a super villain to battle against. If you think about some of the superheroes out there, right? Batman has the Joker as one of the top supervillains he battles. Superman has Lex Luthor. So there are a lot of supervillains out there that really helps to make a superhero. If you think that battle that they always have, I always love watching the movies and the cartoons where you see the good versus evil, where the good guy, the superhero, always there's that dramatic music that happens when they meet and they're about to fight. And at times it seems like maybe the villain is winning and the superhero is falling. But then they get that strength, that oomph that's needed, or they're reminded of the tools that they have available to them that helps them overturn what looks like a bad situation and helps them with winning. Now, today we're going to continue our lesson by taking a look at and discussing one of the greatest individuals in the Bible that we hear about, which is, in one of the best stories, is the story of David and Goliath, where it seems like David is only this big, this tiny, he's a tiny man, he's a little boy. And then Goliath is this huge monster, where it looks like, this big monster could potentially defeat this little guy. But we'll talk a little bit about that story and what's happening. Now, one of the things that's good to know is that for you to remind yourself that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, okay? Now, we sometimes have fears and things that we think that we can't accomplish. Maybe it's based on what we see physically, or sometimes it's the battle in our minds, right? Where you can see here, I'm not sure if you can make out what this is. This is a little night light, right? We have these throughout the house where you plug it in and it does, as the name says, it brings light in the night. So if there's a dark room, it helps to bring it, make it nice and bright. So for example, let's say you're at your grandma's house or your grandparents' house and it's not a house you're familiar with, and it's nighttime, your parents are sleeping somewhere on the other side of the house, and you got to get up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, and you poke your head out the door, and it's dark out there, and you start to, and then you hear a sound, right? In our minds, we're thinking it might be something crazy. Maybe your grandparent has a cat, and you see it, and you think, is that a man-eating monster? But no, it's actually just a cat. So sometimes we have things that we put in our minds that make us feel like we can't accomplish something or we can't do something. But that's not real. We have God by our side. We have Christ who strengthens you. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into our Bible story. Now, it's going to take us to 1 Samuel chapter 17. We're going to go verses 32 to 49. So give you a chance to flip there, or if you have technology like I do, give you a chance to click to get there. So we're going to go to 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 32 to 49. Now, this is kind of long, so I'm not going to read everything, all the way through. But of course, as you are at home, please take time, read your Bible, of course, and read the stories, the things that reminds us of God's love and the fact that you can, like we're talking about today, do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Use your chat. Go ahead and type that in. Say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So go ahead and type that in the chat. So let me set the stage for you for today's story. So we're talking about David and Goliath. Now, David is small, as I mentioned, and there's a battle that's happening right now. All right. There's a battle that's happening against a group called the Philistines. And David's brothers have gone off to be in this war to help to fight for and with King Saul at the time. Okay. And David's father sent David, hey, go check on your brothers, here, bring them some food and bring them some stuff, check on them, come back and let me know how they're doing. So David's like, all right, Daddy, I'll do that. He probably didn't sound like that, but David went to go check on his brothers. And while there, he's like, what's going on, guys? Hey, why are we just relaxing, scared over here? Well, there's this big giant in this army talking smack. Are we going to allow that to happen? Oh, you are? Because you're what? You're scared? Oh, wait a minute. We don't have fear. What are you're scared? Oh, man, I'll take care of this. All right. So then David, all right, let's go ahead and jump to 32. He said to Saul, people shouldn't let Goliath discourage them. I am your servant. I will go fight this Philistine. Saul answered, verse 33, you can't go out and fight against this Philistine. You're not even a soldier. Goliath has been fighting in wars since he was a boy. Verse 34. But David said to Saul, there were times when I was taking care of my father's sheep that wild animals came to, basically come to bother the sheep. They came to take some sheep from the flock. Once there was a lion, and another time a bear. I chased that wild animal, attacked it, and took the sheep from its mouth. Wow. All right, continuing. That the wild animal jumped on me, but I caught it by the fur under its mouth, right? Can you imagine? I feel like, as we're reading this, it's getting a little bit like intense. Ooh, you hear that dramatic music playing, da-da-dum, I grabbed it by its mouth. Ooh, all right. Continuing, and I hit and killed it. I killed both the lion and the bear like that, and I will kill this foreigner, Goliath, just like them. All right. Goliath will die because he made fun of the army of the living God. The Lord saved me from the lion and the bear. He will also save me from this Philistine. Now, one of the things that's important to do in this case, as you saw, as people come into your life or try to discourage you, remind yourself, remind them of the things that God has equipped you to do, right? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Let me tell you about a situation in which I thought I was going to be defeated, but here is how I overcame, how I took that situation to become to where I was able to win. So remind yourself of those things, because other people, they'll come and try to do the opposite and remind you of how you are not good enough and how you could potentially fail. All right, we're going to skip through this a little bit, but basically the verses that we're going to skip to help us with time, David is basically getting ready, and Saul says, okay, well, go ahead and go then.
Since you think you so bad, go out there then.
So he told him to go out, and he tries to give him all this gear, and David's like, I can't wear this. This is too much. This is too heavy for me. All right. Let me do what I do. Let me do what I does. And he gets his little slingshot and rock and goes out there. And there's back and forth conversation that happens between David and really Goliath, where he says the Philistine walked closer and closer to David. Goliath helped her walk in front of him, carrying a large shield. And 42, Goliath looked at David with disgust. Can you imagine how that face looked? How do you look at someone with disgust? Ugh, right? He saw that David was only a handsome and healthy boy. I'm not sure what handsome has to do with this in this case, but it's included that he's a handsome and healthy boy. Goliath said to David, what is that stick for? Did you come to chase me away like a dog? Right? And then they continue with some back and forth conversation. And basically, Goliath or David reminds him and lets him know that, you know what? I am here to take care of business. I'm here to take care of you. I am here to defeat you. Today, you will be defeated. So let's jump down to verse 46 as we go to 46 to 49, just to wrap it up a little bit. So verse 46, it says, today the Lord will help me defeat you. I will kill you. I will cut off your head. Ooh, that's intense. And feed your body to the birds and the wild animals. Now, in this case here, David is using some intense words, right? But it's good for you to remind yourself again of the strength that God has given you in order for you to accomplish all things, right? And then as we fast forward a little bit down, David does what we know that he does as part of the story, which is he has a slingshot and he gets the slingshot and he's twisting and waving and winding up, and then he lets it go. The rock goes flying, hits Goliath right between the eyes, and he falls down face first. So remind yourself that God has equipped you with strength. Now, to kind of add to today's discussion, I have a couple points that I want for you to write down as it relates to when you are afraid of something or you think that you can accomplish something. There are a couple things that you can do. There are short-term things, which means you can do like right then and there. And there are long-term things that can really help you with preparing down the line. Now, I'm gonna give you two for each that you can maybe write down. Now, for a short-term thing, one of the things that you can do, if you come across a situation where you think you can't accomplish that thing or that you're afraid, just stop and breathe for a moment, right? Take a deep breath. You can even close your eyes if you want. Take a deep breath and close your eyes. It helps you to relax. It helps you to think things through. It helps you to calm down without feeling so anxious like you can't accomplish that thing. So pause and breathe for a moment. The next thing that you can do when you're thinking about short term is you can focus your attention elsewhere. All right, focus your attention on what you can do, right? If there's a situation you're looking at like, oh man, I can't accomplish this. Let's look at what you can do, what you can accomplish to solve the bigger problem. There's a saying where the saying is, how do you eat an elephant? Now, I know a lot of you, or hopefully none of you on, going around eating elephants, but the saying is, how do you eat an elephant? Well, the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So instead of looking at the big old problem, right? Let's look at the little things that you can do to help you with solving that big problem, all right? Now for long term, two things. You can research the thing, research what you believe you can't do, because a lot of times the reason why we think we can't do something is because we don't know anything about it, right? We can either go off of what other people tell us, or we can go off of assumption, which is we're assuming, oh, because I've never done it before, that means I don't know how to do it. No, research and find out like, oh, okay, that's how you do that. Okay, I could do that. Or, I could do this to help with solve with that problem, whatever it might be. Research to find out more about it. And then the last thing is get help, right? There might be things that you on your own can't do, but if you open your mouth, talk to someone, say, I need help with this, or, whether it's something physically that you need help with, or maybe, like I said earlier, sometimes we're in battle with our minds, the things that we're thinking, because we could tell ourselves, you can't do that, but we won't let other people tell us that we can't do that. So if you need assistance, go to someone. God has put people around us. Now, today we did say you can accomplish and do all things through Christ who strengthens you, but there are also people in your life, right, in my life, that are here to help us with being good listeners, with being good problem solvers, to help us with achieving and accomplishing the things that God has shown us to do, and also achieving and helping us to accomplish the things that we're challenged, we're struggling with, that we're dealing with. So open your mouth, don't hold back, talk to someone. So thank you so much for listening to our lesson. Let's now just jump into our trivia game for today's discussion.
All right, everyone, and welcome to today's trivia game.
Welcome to today's game. This is our superhero faith review game to see, hopefully you're paying close attention. Now, I will say I will help you a little bit today because we skimmed over the Bible story to cover the key points, and some of these questions might not be something that I verbally said. Hopefully you know the answer, but I will help you a little bit. So pay close attention to the way I say some of these to help you with knowing what the answer is. All right. So there are 5 questions. Let's jump right into it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The first one is, David's arch enemy in this story was David's enemy Saul, Goliath, or the Joker? Who was David's enemy in this story? Was it Saul, Goliath, or was it the Joker? Use your chat and go ahead and type in your answer. And if you entered B, Goliath, you are correct. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a gold star. All right, here we go. Question number 2. Saul didn't want David to fight Goliath because, is it A, he didn't want David to get credit for the victory? Is it B, because Saul was planning to send in Spider-Man? Or is it C, Saul thought David would die? Why didn't Saul want to send David in to fight Goliath? All right, A, B, or C? Go ahead and put in your answer. All right, if you entered in C, because Saul thought David would die, you are correct. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, David didn't fight alone. He went into battle with, did he go into battle with God, Saul, or did he go into battle with the Green Lantern? All right. Who was beside or by David's side? All right. Was it God, Saul, or the Green Lantern? All right. Here we go. If you put in A, God was with David or by David's side, you are correct. All right. 2 more questions to go. Next, it says David blank. David killed Goliath with a sling, ran away scared, or did a Fortnite dance after he won, right? Did he do the floss? I think is what it's called, right? So what happened afterwards? David killed Goliath with his sling. Did he run away scared, or did he do a Fortnite dance after he won? All right, if you put in A, David killed Goliath with a sling, you are correct. All right, here we go. And the last question is, we will be victorious if we stand with David, God, or the Incredibles, right? If you stand with David, God, or the Incredibles in life, you will be victorious. All right, type in your answer. If you put in B, God, you are correct. You got that right. All right. So look at what you got right. And if you got a couple wrong, go back and read the Bible verse again to see, okay, what did I get wrong? Did I say or think it was Spider-Man he was sitting in? Am I victorious with the Incredibles? No, you're victorious with God. Thank you so much for participating as part of our review game. Now we're going to jump right into our craft and memory verse as we wrap up today's lesson. All right, hopefully you've been enjoying today's discussion, being reminded that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Go ahead and use your chat once again. Type it in. But I can do all things through through Christ who strengthens me. All right. Now, as we get into our craft and as we work towards wrapping up today's discussion, you will just basically need for your craft a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to draw the David and Goliath scene, right? You could do a little comic strip where you have multiple little pieces that shows this happened and then that happened and then that happened and then that happened, or just draw one big one that shows how David was victorious against Goliath. Now, we do want to see your pictures. If you are watching this, of course, with your parents or after you do your craft, give it to your parents. See if they can take a picture of it and upload it to our factory page on Facebook. You can search for RTM Factory, Revealing Truth Ministries, the Factory. It should pop up and to show you where your parent can request access and they can upload a copy of the pictures and the things, the crafts that you've been doing, because we do want to see them and we get excited when we receive messages and different stuff from you all. So now, as I mentioned, you're going to draw the scene. For me, I went ahead and I did my scene. Hopefully you can see it here. Well, let me talk about my drawing a little bit. I have over here clouds and a sun, of course. And as you can see, there's this big old guy. This is Goliath. And then this is David with a little sling in his hand, where he is going to the little slingshot. He's going to wind up and throw to hit Goliath right between the eyes, as we said as part of our story. So this is my drawing. We want to see your drawing. Please make sure you take pictures and scan or something and upload to our factory page. Now, as we wrap up today, we want to do our memory verse so it can remind ourselves the things that God is for us. And our memory verse comes to us from Psalm chapter 62, verse 7. So Psalm chapter 62, verse 7, it tells us, I depend on God to save me and to honor me. He is my mighty rock and my place of safety. So remind yourself of that. Go back and look at our memory verse because we do cover these each week. So thank you everyone once again for being here today, being reminded that you have superhero faith, being reminded that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We hope to see you on next time as part of a future service. Parents, please share this with your children. And if they've missed any of the previous lessons, you can rewind. And if they've missed any of the previous lessons, you can rewind. Go back and look at any of the previous Factory or Revealing Truth Ministries lessons. So thank you everyone once again for joining us. We will see you soon. Enjoy your week. Bye.
You're the only power.